Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Really Rushed and Fast podcast. This is the podcast that I wasn't ready for, and they decided to rush me. So now Kaya is going to tell us what the fuck his topic is. Because Kaya,
what's the deal?
Kaya, before we hit the record button, he slipped a note under my door, and it says, "If you don't hurry up, I'll fucking kill you." And he drew like a big frowny face on it. So Kaya, what? What do you want?
Can we talk about why he's in such a rush?
Fuck up!
What's the deal?
God!
Why are you in such a rush?
I really want to talk about Nintendo.
Oh, I'm done.
All.
Bye. Let's fuck this.
This will lead to good places for us.
Episode 200 of Nintendo being evil.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen this news that they have the right to brick your Switch 2 for piracy?
Very cool.
Oh, I didn't see that. I only saw the Palworld news where they beat Palworld in a court of law.
I saw the Palworld one. I didn't see the Piracy one.
Yeah, what's up with the Piracy one?
Okay, well, perfect. We're a perfect match because I didn't see the Palworld one.
Oh, if we combine.
Jackson, come here. Let's commiserate. We'll pass notes. We'll write on each other's shirts. We'll get ready for this. It's our turn to shine.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kaya.
I communicate exclusively through kissing you on your lips, Andrew, though.
I communicate exclusively through men's penises in my mouth. I stimulate the muscles in Morse code. So let's get this show on the road, shall we?
Well, turns out that it's mostly an article about the differences between European and American end-user license agreements.
Mm-hmm.
In America, Nintendo can get away with bricking your Switch, like disabling it remotely if they detect that you're pirating their old video games.
I don't understand a word of what he's saying because he's not kissing me on my lips.
Yeah.
You're going to have to
Jackson,
translate that to me, Andrew.
Nintendo, piracy, bad.
Perfect. Got it.
It's like the
now I
Rock
understand.
Bottom episode.
You're like a child who skinned his knee and needs attention.
Yes, please comfort me.
Now, let me ask you a question, Kaya. Now, you may or may not allegedly be really into piracy and stealing shit all the time and taking movies
He's a Turkish rogue.
such as Keanu Reeves films for yours for the taking. Genuine question. How, this is obviously bad and I don't like it, but how is it a problem when I feel like every pirate on the planet is just not going to connect it to the internet?
Well, you might still want to buy games legitimately, right? I've never jailbroken any Switch, so I don't know how tedious or difficult it is or how... Like, I don't know. I would imagine they would have to find some way to... Like, can you even use it without internet?
From what I remember, now things may be different now. I knew original Switch piracy was if you bought a original hardware Switch and you short-circuited it with like a piece of metal or something, it would enter the developer factory boot, and then you could be like, here, load this operating system, and that's how pirates would put their own operating system on it.
That makes sense.
I don't know how tech has shifted, but back in the day when you had Nintendo DS and PSP piracy, which was really, really easy, the only caveat was you could never connect it to the internet. It would even disable it through the pirate stuff just so you couldn't do it on accident. But if you did, that was how Nintendo would like ban your account and all sorts of other shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the problem now is that these companies are catching on. I don't know if you saw, but Microsoft is now in the process of switching their installer to be online only. There used to be a trick during the installation where you could open the command line and type in like a command so it would skip the forced account creation or forced login.
Yeah.
They're now working on completely removing it. So if you're not connected to the internet, you don't get to use Windows. Fuck you.
Yeah, actually, I just experienced that. I just built a computer from my living room to play, PC games on the big screen in my living room.
You'll never go back, by the way, Jackson. I did that like 6 months ago, and it makes everything better. Yeah.
It's actually in my bedroom, so I get to lay in bed and play PC games.
It's the most convenient of convenient. Like, playing a Steam Deck in bed is pretty good, but having a dedicated gaming PC on your couch or bed is like, you can't ever go back. It's the best.
It's way better. I have it so that I just have like a wireless keyboard like beside me in my nightstand or whatever. I use that once to log in, and then the computer immediately goes into Steam big picture mode or whatever. So it's just like just like a console, basically. It's great.
It's awesome.
It's so good.
It really is awesome.
That's what I do. I have my recording PC just plugged into a huge TV where like the good beefy computer, and it's like, I can watch any movie on this. I can play Elden Ring on my controller, so it just feels like a console anyway, except 4K or whatever.
Before I built the dedicated computer, this computer right here, I bought like a 100-foot HDMI cable, and I would run it all the way to my living room TV.
Did the same thing.
Yeah, and
but then it's unless you run it through the walls, it's so visible. It's annoying.
But if you don't, if you just kind of jerry rig it like I did, you have this giant fucking like sausage thick cable sitting all through your room, and it's like so easy to trip on and kill you. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
Plus, it's annoying. I don't want to deal with like wiring.
Yeah, but it's like a one-time thing, and then you can have it like run from your computer anywhere to your main monitor, and it's just the convenience that comes with it is excellent.
Well, I like buying
Most
computers.
People don't use it.
I like building computers, so I was happy to do another one.
Well, la-di-da. Fuck you.
Well, perfect. See, you're somebody who could probably deal with the cable management.
Mm-hmm.
Normal people, they don't know, like, they don't do this sort of shit at all. I know, like, whenever we have guests, they just look at our TV like, why aren't you logged into Netflix? And I tell them, the TV isn't connected to the internet. Like, hold on. So let me launch the PC and that's it.
So I was saying anyway, so I put the computer in there, brand new computer, boot it up for, to install all the software and things like that. Set it up for the first time, basically going through the Windows OS install, and I could not pass through it without connecting to the internet.
I bought a new laptop.
I was very annoyed about that.
I bought a new laptop recently, and it's the exact same thing. It immediately is like, oh, log into your Microsoft account. And back in the day, there used to be all these workarounds. Like it would say, oh, I don't want to right now, or I'll log in later, or you just disconnect Wi-Fi and internet, and it goes, oh, make a local account. Yeah, skip.
And like 90% of the install as well is just advertisements for Windows products.
Oh
like,
my God,
you can try.
I wanted to talk
about
this.
Word 365, shit like that. Would you like to sign up for data backup? Would you like to pay for storage?
Oh, Jackson, it's more nefarious than that.
Let me get into the OS.
It's more nefarious than that. So they bring up Microsoft Office, and they're like, do you want to sign up for the Office suite? And on the left, it says no, and on the right, it says yes. And I go, no, I'm never going to use it because I have fucking Google Docs. And they go, do you want to sign up for Data Security BitLocker? And on the left, it says no, and on the right, it says yes. And I say, no, I'm not going to use it. And then it goes, do you want to try out your free trial of Game Pass with all these hours of games? And on the left, it says yes. And on the right, it says no. And they're trying to trick you. And then if you say no, it's like, are you sure you'll miss out on all these games? And then it says like continue or no, which means like, no, I don't want to miss out on all these games. Please sign me up for it. It's fucking disgusting.
It's so tedious, man.
And my pro tip is I have an old ISO of the Windows installer that hasn't been changed by Windows yet, by Microsoft yet, to force online only. Find yourself one of those, install the PC completely offline. Get the software that it is literally the first thing I always run on a fresh install. It's called O&O Shut Up.
How does
and all it does...
I was going to say, how does like keeping your Windows security up to date work?
Well, you can enable just update checks, or you can selectively enable, okay, I want everything shut the fuck down. Do not scan my handwriting data. Do not scan my face in the logon screen, but I still want to use my mic. You can selectively change whatever you want to allow Windows to have, but like 90% of it is fucking bloat, and stop collecting analytics on me. And then what you do is get an app called Portmaster, which is open source and free, works on Windows, and you block the entirety of fucking Windows from the internet. Once a week, you can disable it to get your updates, but other than that, I only selectively allow apps to connect. Like Steam, you're allowed to connect. Discord, sure. Microsoft File Explorer, fuck no. Why do you have to be on the internet, right? Anyway, makes everything way, way better. Sorry to spurg out.
Now, one thing I will say, Kaya, one thing I will say that I did learn a long while ago is be careful with the offline installers. There is one thing I do like about it being online only for account security, because there are USB flash drives and similar devices you can buy that if you plug it in the computer, turn it off and turn it back on, it will skip the entirety of the sign in and setup and just go straight to your desktop. No password, no nothing asked for. So that's the one thing I do like about them being all online now, because if someone gets into my account, it'll be like, hey, here's a new sign in. Did you do that? So I guess if you never take your computer anywhere, it's not a big deal. But for like laptops, I don't think I would ever use it, just for the fact if someone steals it, they could get into it much easier that way.
Even if it's still at home, like James Bond could break in and use one of those USBs and access all your sensitive files.
That's why you need to just get VeraCrypt and put on full disk encryption, which I do on every device too. It has basically no performance impact. You guys may have heard about BitLocker, which is Windows's built-in full disk encryption, but I've heard rumors that they use backdoors for governments, so fuck them. VeraCrypt also open source. You can encrypt anything, like no USBs breaking this shit.
I think it's just safest to wipe your computer completely after every use.
Or
start fresh every single time you sit down.
Never have a computer. Just don't buy one. That's all dangerous.
Bomber Max.
Those things could explode. They've got like lithium-ion batteries in them. Are you insane?
They're made out of electricity.
They
dangerous.
run over 400 volts. Like, my God, that's enough to stop a heart.
How many volts do you need to kill someone?
Not a lot. Or is it the amps? One of them, you only need like 5 and you could kill someone by stopping their heart. I don't remember.
Yeah, find out. Do you have a fork and an outlet?
I certainly do.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of saliva in my mouth I could cover it with first.
You guys ever been around like electric fences where, you know, when you're young, everyone like takes turns touching the electric fences to get the hit?
No.
No,
I don't think I've ever seen an electric fence.
No, I had video games growing up. I didn't need to go to Old Man Jenkins' farm and touch the fence.
Zap yourself out of boredom.
Jackson's poking it as a little kid going, I wish I had Pokemon. I wish I had Pokemon.
I'm surprised you guys have never done that. We should do it sometime.
I've seen people do it. I've seen science experiments where you make human chains and touch stuff like that.
I saw a mate get electrocuted because he pissed on it. That was pretty. That taught me more than like 12 years of science class ever did.
There's a whole Mythbusters episode dedicated to that, about pissing on electrified stuff to get shocked, and it
works.
It's true, works.
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, Switch 2 could be online only. They might just force you to.
No, it's absolutely going to be online only.
Well, how would they do that for a fully portable console though? Because there's going to be so many times you want to have
online
Wi-Fi.
only during setup, I imagine.
Oh, that's a very good. There's a very good chance of that. Yeah.
Wasn't it one the game manufacturer, somebody, a DRM company, saying you can use this offline, the video game, but only for 1 hour at a time?
Yeah.
Or after a few. Is it the Nouveau chat is saying?
Something
where like you could log off and play in offline mode the whole game, but after 30 days or something, it would disable the game entirely.
I mean, we've lost this. The fight has been lost already.
100%.
Like most game services, video games require online activation.
The Switch does that to capacity for some certain stuff too, where they have to check your Nintendo membership. So a good example is if you have a Nintendo membership, you get access to free ROMs of old consoles, like the SNES, the Nintendo 64, all that shit, that's fine. That's a nice little feature. I'm okay with it. It's really basic, but it's just there. It's part of your online membership. But if you have it, I believe it has to check like every 12 hours to make sure your membership is active. Otherwise, it completely removes your access to it. And to me, that's bullshit, because almost every other service on the planet is like, okay, you get this month because you pay month to month. You have the rest of the month if you cancel it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 100%.
Wait, does it cancel it immediately if...
So what I'm saying is, like, if I sign up for Netflix and you pay it month to month, and then I go, I don't want Netflix anymore. You have the rest of that month, and then they ask for the next payment, and then they're like, yeah. But Nintendo
cancels it immediately.
They block out features. They go, oh, you don't currently have an active membership. You can't use this part of the membership.
They lock features to it being an active subscription.
Yes.
That's extremely shitty.
Yeah.
That's fucked. One of the features of their Nintendo Online membership bullshit is that you get access to those old retro games that they re-release or whatever on the Nintendo Switch through emulation.
Yeah, and do a very bad job of re-releasing, I want to add. They're not really well done. Yeah.
Can you individually buy them, or are they only available through the membership?
Some of them are either like remade or remastered or available through other means, like collections, but most of them you can only get through that membership.
That's bullshit. That's so fucked.
Which is why they so aggressively are going onto anti-piracy. In other digital Satan news, I also saw this yesterday. Amazon Prime Video threatens customers with account termination if they take a screenshot. And the email
I had that happen yesterday.
Said, you got banned for a screenshot?
No, not banned, but I learned Amazon Prime now, if you're watching something on Prime Video and you take screenshots, they black out the entire screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Netflix does that too. If you're using the Netflix app, I think on Windows, if you try to use the screenshot buttons, it blocks it.
What's the fucking point?
It's so counterproductive. Like, wouldn't you want people taking screenshots and making memes
talking about it?
A million reasons. Sure. So I've been watching the show Archer, which is very good, very good show, and it's on Amazon Prime. And there's a scene where the characters go to a guy's apartment and he has a bunch of guitars in it. And I was like, oh, I like guitars. I'm going to show my guitar friends that they actually drew the real world models. Like, I can name what all of these are. And every time I'm hitting screenshot, it fades to black. So do you know what I did? Instead of going, damn, piracy's bad, and I should
take a picture with your phone.
I pulled my fucking phone out and took a photo of my screen, thus accomplishing the same thing that they can never, ever block. They can never stop me from doing that. It's so pointless.
It's such a needless feature because, like, who's going to sit there and screenshot every single frame of the movie or television show to release, like, a fucking slideshow
Exactly.
Like, what's the point? What are you stopping?
And also the people... Go ahead.
Sorry. Well, they're trying to prevent screen recording in general, like the same underlying API that your OS uses to take one screenshot. It's the same one that, like, OBS uses to record your screen. So I remember whenever I would try to record like a funny scene in a show on Netflix, it's also black in OBS.
And they
found a way to just literally disable the window.
And they're too stupid to realize you'll never, ever, 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 ever stop that because the workaround is always there. You can do that all you want, but you can't stop me from recording the feed of my computer. You can't detect that if I record this computer to a different one. You can't stop me from paying a
very talented artist to sketch out each single frame.
I got a courtroom sketch artist to draw every frame of the show, and then I got a text-to-speech robot to read all the dialogue, and now all my friends watch for free.
I printed it out as a flip book.
No, you are completely right, though. I distinctly remember there would be instances where I would just really like a funny moment, like a funny screenshot, but I couldn't get it. So I would just close Netflix and go to a pirate site and scrub to the scene that I wanted to screenshot. Like
I did that. I did that last night with Netflix, actually. Oh, good related story. So my brother and I share a Netflix account. And Netflix decided to finally, after years and years, pull the shit where I was going to log into his account. And it went, you're not currently in the same household, so you don't get to watch Netflix. We can send you a temporary code for 14 days, but it'll go to your brother's email. So I literally sat there and I said, I don't want to fucking text my brother, tell him he's going to get an email, get that code from it, get it to this computer, type in all my login info again, and then watch the thing I was going to watch. I instead literally opened a piracy website and downloaded the movie I was going to watch on Netflix because it was more convenient.
Yeah.
Fuck this.
I don't see. Right. I'm usually a big anti-piracy kind of guy, as I've made clear on the podcast previously. But I don't care about those kinds of situations, like what you just said, Andrew, because you're already paying for the service.
Yeah.
In my mind, you owed what is on that service. Then, like, if you download it, whatever, I don't care.
I fully agree. Your terms and conditions should not be so exclusive because otherwise, it's not worth the price I pay for it, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Well, and then they say, but, you agree to it. You click the I agree button, but it's like all of us go through life clicking I agree on things that we morally disagree with.
Yeah.
Well, that's
morally, I think.
That's my point, though. Morally, I think piracy is usually wrong, but I don't care about the legal aspect of it. So I'm fine with Andrew doing that.
I think piracy is morally wrong on a small scale. Like this email says, some scenes may have been edited to reflect current sensibilities.
Ugh.
Attempting to take screenshots can result in an account termination. And I tweeted at it, quote tweeted this saying, I think on an individual level, you should pay to support artists you like, buy their songs on Bandcamp, etc. But when it comes to stuff like this, you cannot argue argue me out of my stance that piracy is not only righteous, Jackson, but essential to preserving art.
Fully agree.
There are people who spend their time editing scenes out of 30-year-old TV shows just to appease bored Karens and their quote-unquote current sensibilities. It's important that you don't reward them for it with their money.
Let's rehash.
And I think this is like my stance now.
Yeah.
Is I don't think you should steal from an artist that you like personally. Like if you like somebody's drawings, give them money on Patreon. If you like music, buy their merch. If you like,
I just don't think you're owed. I don't think you're owed anything.
Or use piracy to try before you buy. If you find an artist and they make music and you download them through a torrent or a music sharing site, then go back and buy a legitimate version of the CD or album or song. I have done that God knows how many times because I find a new band and I want to support them, but I would not have found that band without scrolling through those websites, you know?
There is a typical example of how piracy helps. Let's say even a huge soulless company like Adobe benefits from piracy. You know how many third world like teenage boys there are who cannot afford a license, who nonetheless pirate the shit. They pirate Photoshop. They use it for years. They get good at it, turn it into a skill.
Yeah, but if
find
everyone
a job that pays them to get it.
But if everyone has that mind frame and doesn't pay,
that's never a scenario that's ever going to happen ever. You know.
Well, yeah, but I'm just talking from
that is why
I'm only exclusively talking from the moral aspect. I still believe that stealing is wrong.
And let's rehash something I've said on the show a million times that goes completely alongside Kaya's point. South Park and Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You are missing episodes of both shows if you go through the official release because Paramount Plus and wherever Sunny is, I think Netflix now, wherever, it doesn't matter, has removed good handfuls of episodes of both shows permanently.
Yeah, and obviously in those situations, I'm fine with pirating those things, considering it's the only way to access it.
Yeah, it's the only way.
I was thinking about that recently, where like, you know, one day it's going to be 500 years from now, and you guys know that story? I just looked it up, of the woman who, remarkable story of a woman who preserved over 30 years of TV history. And all this lady would do is like run her VCR 24/7 to record a channel that she liked. And she would keep all of the VCRs. And turns out this ended up helping the TV station because at some point the TV station didn't keep archives of older shows that they didn't really give a fuck about. But years and years and decades later, they realized, you know what, we could sell those. It's just a shame none of us have a copy anymore. No one at the company bothered to make a backup. Yeah. This granny was the only backup on Earth because she recorded everything.
There are many shows I have seen where I have tried to find them officially and they are just fucking gone. And then I go on some shady websites and it's like, it has 2-seaters and the torrent is from 2012, but it works. And I watch it and then I turn it into a video for YouTube, or I tell it to my friends, or I show it to other people. And it's, no one's getting paid for that anymore. A fucking 12, 13-year-old cartoon people forgot about. But it's something. It's culture. It's preservation. It
still exists.
Yeah.
My point is always, if it's not available, then piracy is completely fine because clearly they don't want. That's like consent from them, basically. They don't want to sell it. So
and it's
preservation
fucked.
of art.
It's fucked. There's an old TV show that stars Michael Ian Black and 2 other funny comedians. It's called Stella. And it only had 1 season. And I found it after all these hours and hours and hours of digging around the internet to talk about it. And I made a video about it. And it turns out, once I made that video, a week later, unfortunately, the company fucking took it down. And we're like, oh, we own the rights to this show. So then I went, okay, if I had to work these days to find this show of internet sleuthing, and now you just took it down there, where does anyone ever see this again? It's just gone now. And why? How does that help you? How does that benefit you? It's crazy.
No, it's literally just destroying art, which is why we need the year 2500 equivalent of this granny, which is going to be some neckbeard fucking schizoid who just torrents everything, and he forgot this Breaking Bad or South Park download in his downloads folder that's completely disheveled, and he's going to be the only person on Earth with the, panty raid episode of SpongeBob still intact.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't pan out.
He will be the hero.
Sometimes it doesn't pan out. You see a bunch of well, you guys know how popular lost media in general is online. Like it's a whole category of content, basically, YouTube channels and stuff. Like, so clearly there are a lot of stuff out there that do just get lost to time, which is
of course, but
pretty crazy.
In the few instances where there is a hero, what's always the story? Oh yeah, I had this on an old hard drive that I haven't even checked since like 12 years ago.
Or they go to one of the people from the show and they go, oh, now that the rights are expired, I can just give it to you. Oh, hey, I was the staff producer on this show, and now that I'm no longer at the company, I put it on a Google Drive. Here you go. It's always bullshit with companies iron clawing their properties, even if they never intend to ever release them. You know,
this is why I always advocate for screenshotting every single frame of the television series you're watching, just in case. In case. So real quick before we continue, if our podcast ever does go down, if they delete, if the government ever deletes all of our episodes and such, we give you permission to download and store and archive specifically our ad reads, which will
and only our ad reads and nothing else.
And back in, a compilation.
The best part of the show, some would argue, the ad reads. In fact, let's add some to that tally now.
I thought I already did that. Okay.
No, I just did it again.
Beds are good. You spend a lot of time on them, in fact, roughly 1/3 of your life. That's a lot of time to spend on something, so it's probably best you have the right bed for you. Helix Sleep is the best bed maker in town with mattresses that exist to make sleep easier and better for you. Longtime supporters of the show know that we sleep on Helix mattresses here at the official podcast, and we have done for a long time now, thanks to them. Andrew's house is full of those mattresses, for example. He can't get enough of them, and every time I've slept in his house, I've had the most comfortable sleep I've ever known, and that's even with the tickle fights we get into all night. You can even take their sleep quiz to find out exactly what mattress you should buy, with certain mattresses being designed to fit your particular sleep profile, ensuring that the mattress you get is perfect for you. If you're going to get into the bed market right now, it's really the best time to invest in a bed upgrade. Go to helixsleep.com/official and get 27% off site-wide, plus each Luxe or Elite mattress order gets a free bedding bundle, which comes with a sheet set and mattress protector. That's helixsleep.com/official for 27% off site-wide. Check them out and go to the description and click on the link and have a good night's sleep. Here's Andrew to lull you with a sweet lullaby.
Hey guys, it's me, world famous influencer and YouTuber and famous internet man Hugbees, and I know that you out there are not in good shape. Let's just be honest. I'm just looking at statistics of our audience. Most of you are in America, and the raw fact is most of you do not go to the gym nearly enough. And then you doom scroll influencer content of fitness people, and they're like, do this trick and this workout and try this and do that and all of this stuff. And you don't know what's good ideas, what's good advice, who's faking what, who's doing everything they have to do to just look good and not actually be healthy. That's the dumb way to do it. Do you want the smart way to do it? Use Fitbod. It's got all the power of a scheduler, a personal trainer, an exercise tutorial, all sorts of regiment tools at your disposal in a convenient app. Fitbod is a personalized workout routine for your goals, your height, your weight, and maybe even your level of motivation, depending on how you look at it. I've been using Fitbod for a very long time, and my absolute favorite thing is that you can change what exercises it gives you, but on the same muscle group. If Fitbod says, hey, it's time to do chest, and you're like, oh god, I don't want to do bench press, it'll be like, here's 6 other things you can do, and they're all good, and we'll tell you how to do them. That's my favorite thing, because sometimes you need variety. You need to mix it up. As long as you're listening to a well-formulated plan and not some random guy in a backwards hat telling you to tilt the angle of your lift by 14 degrees for no reason. Anyway, level up your workout. Join Fitbod today to get your personalized workout. Get 25% off your subscription or try the app free for 7 days at fitbod.me/official. That's fitbod.me/official. 25% off your subscription or try the app for free for 7 days. Go to Fitbod.
Going online without ExpressVPN is like not closing the door when you use the bathroom. Even if you think you have nothing to hide, why give random creeps a chance to invade your privacy? You enjoy living like that, you sick freak? Repent and make use of ExpressVPN right now to keep everything you do online safe and secure. You need a VPN like ExpressVPN because all of your internet traffic flows through the servers, which means internet service providers see every single website you visit, and these slimy, greedy companies are allowed to sell that information to advertisers whenever they please. To use the hypothetical from before, it's like now if those companies were selling tickets to creeps to watch you in the toilet. Not so cool now, is it? ExpressVPN, however, puts a privacy shield in front of your internet movements, though, through encrypted servers so no one can see your browsing history. ExpressVPN is easy to use, it works on all devices, that's phones, laptops, tablets, and even your router, and it also comes with optional dedicated IP, meaning that not even ExpressVPN can trace the IP address back to you. This means ExpressVPN is one of the very best ways to stay private online. I use ExpressVPN specifically for a rather interesting use case. Sometimes websites geo-lock me out of web content because I'm from Australia. And the same is true for Americans in America as well. Some content online is locked for you guys or the sites detect that you're in America. But, well, with ExpressVPN, suddenly my toilet breaks begin to look like they're happening across the globe. That's right, I've gone global. Where my web content, I can watch all the web content. I can watch all the web content in the world if I want to, because it's suddenly unlocked. That means I'm able to consume any country's content if I so choose to. You too can do that, and you can protect your online privacy today by visiting expressvpn.com/official. That's expressvpn.com/official to find out exactly how you can get up to 4 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/official. It'll be linked in the description. Big thank you if you go check out ExpressVPN. They're a long-time supporter. We love them. But right now, it's time to go back to the episode. All right. We'll put it in there and back in now.
Yeah, it's just frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating, but it's how it is.
I mean, I don't care. It really doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me.
Damn, okay, Jackson.
So I don't care.
Fair. No, I can't argue that.
It just doesn't affect me that much as it seems to affect you guys.
Well, at the end of the day, I still have a happy-go-lucky life. I still sit down and go, oh, that's annoying, and I move on. But this podcast is explicitly the echo chamber of screaming my inner annoyances, so it comes out 20 times worse than it is. I'll give you another example on that Nintendo thing. When I was talking about how Nintendo does a poor job of the emulators, they just fuck games up. Like, the timings and speeds of things are off, the graphics are broken, especially the N64, which, I mean, that's the console I grew up playing with. I play that shit all the time. And then you look at the fan projects, and they recreate it perfectly. Like, graphics are perfectly working, sound is how you remember it, everything is flawless, but those are the ones where Nintendo goes, no. No, you can't publish that. No, you can't do that. No, that's not allowed. And it's like, they're doing a better job than you, and you're just shutting it down. Yeah. It's just frustrating, you know?
They have more, like, it feels like the scoundrels almost have more love for this game and what you guys have created in the culture than the company itself does. Like, this autist who painstakingly preserved this ROM and then reverse engineered a game console to run it on. Like, these people care way more about your property than you do.
Yeah, but that's not going to make them money.
So, yeah, it's not, which I don't care.
But then without money, they'll stop making Pokemon. Pokemon, Diamond Butt Plug version 3 won't come out, and then Andrew will be sad.
Yeah.
They still make so much money, though.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo is a bad example since they will make money regardless.
I'm looking up this Marion Stokes woman, what shit she actually ended up recording. Good for her. Look at her go. 71,000 VHS tapes. Holy shit.
Where do you store that? Did she have a warehouse?
Fucking Fort Knox.
No, it gets funnier. So she actually worked in television. And so she's a big name. I'm reading her biography. She did a bunch of shit, especially during the civil rights movement. But she stacked them in her home. And when she ran out of room, she rented entire apartments just to stack the VHS tapes. That's insane. That's a lot of money.
Okay, let's say you said 71,000 VHSs?
And Betamax as well, yes.
Okay, so 71,000. Let's assume that she's an 80-year-old woman or whatever, and she'd been doing this for 50 years.
Well, she's dead now. So yeah.
That was still 1,420 VHSs a year for 50 years straight.
Yep.
That's
like 2 or 3 days.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That
Allegedly,
but
go ahead.
No, you go.
So yeah, she apparently dedicated her life to doing it. Like actually made a goal of her life to do this for the sake of preserving all of it.
Whatever makes her happy.
Yeah,
I just don't. That seems unhealthy.
I like this quote here. We'd be out at dinner and we'd have to rush home to swap tapes.
Man, I commend that
that's
shit,
the thing,
man.
Though. You want that?
That's unhealthy.
What's
the difference between this and a hoarder?
What is the difference between her and a scientist who's studying something for their entire life? It's I
What's
love
the difference
this.
between a hoarder and a scientist then? I don't know.
Okay.
I gotta record the official podcast commercials.
Okay.
Cut this dinner short.
Yes, her methods were unorthodox, but she did it. This isn't like crazy schizophrenic rambling. She really did preserve television for
I'm
that
not
many
arguing
years,
that she didn't do it. And yes, it's probably a net benefit. I'm saying it's unhealthy from her angle. Like, again, it's digital hoarding, or it is hoarding to some degree. You can't deny that.
Data hoarding is a good thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good
Good for us. Bad for her. Her
one.
entire life was ruled by this obsession.
The Anna's archive of like pirated books and medical papers is 500 terabytes. Okay. It has less than 4 seeders. This torrent that you can help out by seeding if you have a data center, I guess. Facebook got caught training on this data set, by the way.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
By publishers now.
Here, Jackson, I'll read a prolific quote on someone who wrote a book on her life. So, some might characterize Stokes' activities as hoarding, a compulsive act performed by eccentrics and neurotics unable to let things go. All right, that's Jackson's point, I guess. But others might consider her practicing radical histography. Stokes' fundamental project being one of liberation, truth, knowledge, and for the people.
Yeah, so she was an educated hoarder who was able to pretty up her hoarding with fancy words, scientific words.
Here's where I fundamentally disagree with you. Hoarding is like, oh, don't throw that pizza box out. We might need it. Oh, that receipt from Walmart from 1998, that could serve a purpose.
That's preserving the history of that pizza box in case someone else wants to experience the truthfulness.
History, though. I don't know what you're saying.
Hey, the pizza box could have art on it.
That's kind of a good point. She was hoarding dead cats. Like, she was never going to be on Hoarders because she meticulously... No,
she wouldn't, because
Hoarders,
the host would go to her house and go, wait, you preserved all of history on television? This is awesome. You're great. Here's $1 million. Jackson, it's different. It's different if you're hoarding dead cats or newspapers or fucking bottles. This is actual, like, records. She's record keeping. She dedicated her life to it. Yeah, her methods are weird, but it's legitimate, useful shit. It's good that she has it. It is a good thing for society that she did this.
I've noticed a lot. Yeah, I already said it was good for society. I just think it sounds unhealthy for her specifically to live her entire life. Like you said, she was cutting dinner short to go home to swap over tapes. That's clearly unhealthy.
That is called dedication, okay?
Yeah, dedication is unhealthy sometimes.
Isaac Newton forewent bitches just so he could study the stars. Sometimes you need men of history, okay?
And women.
May I read you a Thomas Jefferson quote that I'm looking at now? The lost cannot be recovered, Jackson, but let us save what remains, not by vaults and locks which fence them from the public eye and use, in consigning them to the waste of time, but by such a multiplication of copies as shall place them beyond the reach of accidents.
I 100% know that if she was hoarding manga, Kaya would be on my side right now.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're 100% right. If it was Dragon Ball Z anime and memorabilia, Kaya would be making fun of her forever.
100%.
Kaya would go to her family's house and say, hey, do you know what your grandma was? Oh, yeah. 100%. 100%.
We're neighbors, Kaya. You just don't know it yet.
All I know...
Okay, that's a really good point. Yeah. But, sorry. Like, this giant archive of books does include manga. And I'm glad it does.
There we go.
Is that fair to say?
I've already said it's good for society, and I'm glad that it exists.
Okay.
I just don't know if it was worth her entire life, let's say.
All I know is I unironically love this woman. I'm happy she did what she did. I think this is fucking incredible. I have opened my project's Google Doc. I have scrolled down to history. I have gone to the subsection people. I have put her name there. I don't know when or if I will talk about her, but I need to. I think this is fucking awesome. This is such a cool thing to do with your life.
She's looking down from heaven right now, looking at her name in a Hugbee's Google Doc, and
hey, if she's the title, if she's the title of a Hugbee's video, you bet if she was alive, she would have recorded that shit. Come on now,
it'd be on VHS.
True. Be on a VHS somewhere. No, I love eccentrics who do something for people with it. Like, okay, let's go back to Brian Johnson, the wacko millionaire, how we talked about, yeah, he's weird and he does extreme stuff, but like he's public about it and he talks about all his results and he publicizes it. It's ultimately harmless and potentially net good for society. It's just he's dedicating his life to something weird. I think Marion's the same thing. It's ultimately good for society and people, but yeah, her life, you can debate if it's a waste of it. I don't think it is if it made her happy, if she liked knowing she was doing it.
I don't know if mental illness is happy.
That doesn't mean that you have to be mentally ill, just very dedicated to your work.
Yeah, she's
care
very
a lot.
Jackson, if this woman, let me ask you a genuine question. If this woman did this, except on one of those VHS tapes somehow we found the cure to cancer, would you say she wasted her life?
That's such an extreme example.
How would that happen? Like it accidentally caught a message from the aliens?
It just got lost.
No, I'll give you a genuine, realistic example. Let's say, Jackson, you got tried for murder. And you said there's evidence out there I didn't do it. And on one of those tapes is you, baby Jackson, somewhere proving you couldn't have committed this murder. Then is her work a waste of her life?
Yes. Yeah,
so you'd rather go to jail for a murder you didn't commit than let this woman record shit on VHS.
I'm happy she did it, but she lived her entire life for this specific purpose. I don't know.
It's mission accomplished. She did a fantastic job. It's being used by data centers.
Yeah, we're talking about her.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and we're talking about her. I do not see a downside to any of this except you think she wasted her life when in fact she could have loved doing this. She could have talked about it at parties. She could have loved this.
Yeah.
I think I'm just taking I think I'm probably, if I'm being honest with myself, just taking an extreme angle here to rile you guys up.
I think you're halfway right, but I don't see how she is different from like a husband that works too much, like too many hours, and his wife is a little upset that like, you come home so late, I barely see you. I can see how this would affect her personal life, but nonetheless, like hoarding this shit.
I think that's the thing. I think that's the thing. I'm very sensitive to the idea of hoarding in general. Like
I know, but digital hoarding is good. Look, think about this fact. There's like, you can download Wikipedia, and I think the entire website, every single article combined with images is 110 gigabytes or something like that. Think of how precious that would be in like an apocalypse situation. You know, to have that offline on somebody's hard drive. This website hoards 540 terabytes of books. Not images, not videos in 4K, books, text only. That is so many books.
Yeah.
Let me see. So 51 million books, 98 million papers preserved forever. That is, again, shit hits the fan. You will be happy that some schizophrenic was seeding this to the rest of the world.
You're going to have greater issues if the world ends than watching reruns of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, she didn't record that, you idiot. She recorded Star Trek and The Cosby Show. You're a fucking moron, okay?
When was she active?
The 80s, it seems, if that's what she was recording.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the other side of this. So I feel like Jackson's on the side of the hoarding, and this is weird, and blah blah. Kaya's like more moderate.
I'm fine with it.
Kaya's like more moderate. He's like, yeah, I support it, but like it is a little strange. I'm gonna go on the opposite end. I think we need more people like this. We need more people willing to live in Antarctica for basically no reason. We need more people who are like people on YouTube who will play one video game for 20 straight years and talk about every single line of code in it. Like there's people do that with Mario 64 kind of shit. I will always love eccentrics who dedicate their life to one thing.
I am on that side. I appreciate the eccentrics. Like who else is gonna do this? Again,
exactly. That's my argument. I'm not gonna do it. Someone else should. Do it.
Yeah, like 71,000 VHS tapes. Like, how many of those would decay over the course of 30 years alone? Where that would be a waste. You know, you don't have a digitized copy of it. 500 terabytes of books. I don't know how many terabytes of Nintendo ROMs and games and shows, but for better or for worse, there are 40-year-old TV shows that I believe 500 years from now should still be available, unedited, uncensored, in their original form. And I think you do have to be a little eccentric and weird about caring about this sort of stuff. So Jackson is right in that regard. You have to have that little like touch of
yeah, and I think I'm just sensitive to the idea of obsessive personalities. Where I've
you have to be.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of I've seen a lot of hoarding in my time on the internet, and it always scares me. But yeah, I guess if this
I think you maybe like useful. Conflating it with all of those guys that get caught with like 5 terabytes of child porn or something.
Whoa,
and you're like, what the fuck was this?
Time to pedophile. Stop the stopwatch. There it is. No, Jackson, I think you're seeing this woman as like a shut-in kind of weirdo.
I've changed my mind. You've convinced me.
Well, of course I have. That's what I do. But I really want to nail this home so you never ever disagree with me again. I want to remind you that she owned a business. She was a civil rights activist. Like literally. Keep in mind, she was born in 1929.
You're right. I don't care about any of that. It was more important that she taped VHSs.
But my point is, she had a life. Like, she wasn't just sitting at home recording TV and doing nothing and staring at it. She was recording it for the sake of recording it. You know?
I agree. She's done more than us.
Honestly, that's fair. It's arguable. Yeah.
I wasn't joking.
Okay, let's wrap it back to what about Palworld?
Huh?
Someone recorded all of Palworld on VHS and hoarded it in an apartment.
Oh yeah, Andrew, what happened with Palworld? They got sued by Nintendo, and then
I skimmed it and I kind of read Palworld's thing, and it's like, I don't want to get too involved because I'm very opinionated, and most people probably disagree with me. But Palworld gave an update on their lawsuit with Pokemon, and they were like, "Hey guys, so we're getting sued by Pokemon, and here's the facts. We can keep the game so far. We can stay operating. We can keep it online. You can play it, sell it on Steam, but we have to change like 20 things. So sorry, sorry about that. And one of the things they changed most prominently is you don't use Pal Balls anymore. You don't throw like Pokeballs. You just summon creatures. Yeah, whatever the fuck they're called. I don't remember what they're called.
I don't know. Spheres, I think. But
Pal Spheres, But no, you just summon your creatures and they just pop up. I haven't played it since this update. I don't know how they changed it to work, but I read their entire press release and it was like, yeah, we're basically getting rid of many of the Pokemon similarities from the game, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Are you sure they lost? Because the headlines are saying that they're just still going. Nintendo's lawsuit is slowing Palworld down. How did they lose? Just like removing mechanics?
Yeah, their press release was, hey, we can still sell the game, we're still online, we're okay, but we're changing a bunch of shit in the game for legal distinction.
Which
is
a lot. Yeah, which is not it's kind of them admitting defeat already. Like that, I think they know the way that this is going.
Now, Jackson, keep stalling because I'm putting my soapbox together so I can stand on it. Here's my opinion on this. I can't believe Palworld is allowed to exist. Like, it's so blatant. It is so goddamn blatant. They are just trying to be Pokemon. Like, it's not even... It's so obvious.
Yeah, but okay, sure. But like, should Saints Row be allowed to exist when it is clearly just trying to ape Grand Theft Auto?
The difference is...
That's my soapbox is, sorry someone did your job better than you.
The game sucks. I'm not going to... I don't
Palworld
like Palworld.
No, the difference is...
but it should be allowed to exist. It should be allowed to exist, 100%. I disagree with Andrew, but Andrew, continue your soapbox.
So here's my soapbox. Number one, a lot of the designs are just straight up stolen. It's just they took a Pokemon, they removed one part, or they added a funny nose. Hey, look, it's our original creation. Ha ha ha. But the formula of the game is exactly the same. The difference with Saints Row... Now, I don't know about the originals, but Saints Row looked at Grand Theft Auto and went, okay, Grand Theft Auto is cool, but like, what if you were the president and you had superpowers and you fought aliens?
Yeah, it's more goofy. It's inherently more goofy and arcadey,
It's a different vibe. It's a different thing.
Palworld Palworld is still different to Pokemon in many ways. Like, it's a crafting survival game, more so open world game. Yeah, there's definitely distinctions between Palworld and Pokemon. Probably more distinctions gameplay wise than between GTA and Saints Row, honestly. So
now that's
I don't think that argument holds up.
That's where things do get muddled and interesting, because Palworld is a different video game, and Palworld is I lost the point on that, but my point is, the thing that I see it as, if Pokemon was not a thing, no one would play Palworld. The entirety of success, and in fact, like, notoriety of Palworld is, oh, it's Pokemon with guns. Yeah, it might have an audience, but it wouldn't be nearly what it is now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't know why that's a negative for Power. I don't know why that means Palworld shouldn't exist.
I took your idea and I improved it. And do you really want to support a company just filing trademarks and...
competition is good. We've always argued competition is good.
Yeah, and I guess...
Think about it like this. What if they just patented Mario jumping on platforms, and therefore we don't get to have Hollow Knight now?
Now that is where I was going with this. The part where I do disagree is how Nintendo is suing them. If Nintendo came out and was like, look, you stole our designs, these are clearly the same Pokemon, then yeah, totally get that. But what Pokemon is doing, Pokemon Company, from what I can tell, is they went, you made a game where you catch and release monsters with a ball. That's our game. Like, no, that's stupid. That's a really stupid thing to say.
Yeah, I think you have elements in here, like Andrew, I think, saying, like, if Palworld specifically stole designs, like art designs and stuff from Pokemon, then sure, you can make the argument there that they should change those, but it shouldn't preclude the game from being sold just because the mechanics are somewhat similar. Like that kind of logic is very dangerous for the games industry as a whole, because obviously genres exist where games take inspiration from one another, broadly speaking, and make it better. And that's why competition is good in the games industry, is because, you know, developers are constantly using their creativity to improve on, you know, mechanics and formulas.
And that part is fine. Let's look at Digimon. When I look at a Pokemon and a Digimon, I can immediately say, that's the Pokemon, that's the Digimon. They are very distinct art styles, design styles, and the way they present themselves is very different. Pokemon is like a big, animalistic, fucking dog-fighting adventure, whereas Digimon is more kind of like, ew, weird, fucked up creatures. Oh, this is fucking strange. When you put a pal, I think that's what they're called in Palworld, next to a Pokemon, there is a very good chance that if I didn't know already, I would not know which is which. I could not tell the difference. That's the problem I have with Palworld. Because without Pokemon, Palworld wouldn't be nearly a thing. It might be a thing, it might have been successful, but it's banking off of that, like grandma going to the store and picking up a Polystation instead of a PlayStation kind of thing. They're absolutely doing it, whether they say it or not.
Yeah,
that is a big part of what they're doing.
All right. But you could then say, okay, Scary Movie wouldn't have been as successful without the Scream movies.
True.
But Palworld's not a parody of Pokemon.
If they came out and said they were a parody, let's say, would you be fine with it then?
Isn't it? Like Pikachu with a gun? Doing drive-by shootings on Charizard?
Yeah, and that is a valid conversation. We are now in the nuance of copyright law, because the reality of the fact is copyright law is always case-by-case basis. You always have to determine what would and would not qualify as parody or fair use, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. My thing is, like that's all just kind of what I think you think. It's kind of just your take on how this is all going. The thing that I think is ridiculous is they're going about it with very Japanese company mindsets, which is, oh, you made a ball and it holds monsters in it? Oh, that's our entire game. You copied our entire game. Like, no. You know, that's what they're fighting over.
Is just that they're shameless, which I agree with.
Yeah.
If they came out and said, I want to know, if they came out and just straight up said, yeah, we're a parody of Pokemon, would you be fine with it now?
So yeah, but here's the thing, man. When you do parody, take it from someone who gets YouTube fucking copyright claims for parody all the goddamn time. The thing that you have to prove to them explicitly is your intent is different and not mirrored to the original. So for Palworld to say that they're a parody, they have to say, oh, we made this game as a critique on Pokemon, or, oh, we're doing something totally different. Yeah, we have the Pokemon stuff, but like, you know, we're totally different. We're not related to Pokemon in any way. But again, then we're back to, there are so many Pokemon and so many pals that are exactly the fucking same. 1-to-1.
Yeah, which is the only issue I have. Like, if that's the case, then they need to change that aspect. I don't care about the mechanics though.
And that's where I get kind of fucked up with it, because in my mind, that's where I'm like, yeah, they could sue Palworld, say, look, these are our designs, you totally stole them, but they're suing them over the ball monster catching mechanic, which to me is like, no, that's the part you should allow other games to do. That's the part you shouldn't be able to copyright.
Let me put it this way. If the next Pokemon game comes out and they've got the ability to give Pikachu an AK-47 and go hunting with him or whatever the fuck you do in Palworld, I'd be fine with that. I wouldn't care.
I'm sure a lot of parents would care.
Well, yeah, but...
Yeah, but Palworld, would be funny if, I guess, they got sued back for copying Palworld.
I don't know.
I don't like the use of copyright as like competitive, to shut down competitors. I've been reading a book I can recommend on this called Against Intellectual Monopoly.
I'm surprised you're all right with Nintendo doing that, and also okay with piracy in general, like them not protecting their IP in that way.
The reason it tickles my brain, and it's not something I'm going to sit there and like claim I'm completely correct over, but it's just, to me, it's just blatant. You know, Palworld wants to sit there and be its own thing when it very clearly is not, especially when you see that it's just copying the influences of all the popular games at the time. We talked about how there's the big mysterious tree in the distance, literally Elden Ring, and you get the Breath of the Wild climbing mechanics and Sheikah Slate and all that shit. Palworld is very, very clearly a competent enough bait and switch scam that became its own thing. You know, this is like when you're trying to buy, trying to think of a good example. Oh, like Call of Duty. Call of Duty is a great example. How many free-to-play Chinese mobile games are out there called like Massive Action or Shoot Tactical Dark, Black Hawk Slipstream? It is that. Palworld is that, but for Pokemon. They looked at Pokemon, copied just as much as they could without being completely one-to-one, and tried to sell it as its own thing. And it worked. It 100% worked. And that's the problem I have. It's like, show Palworld and Pokemon to anyone not entirely very familiar, like a parent or a general player. There will be very many times they won't know which is which. That's my point. That's the biggest point I have on why I don't like Palworld. Yeah. That's all. I don't agree with the copyright stuff in a lot of cases, and Nintendo sucks. But I think with Palworld specifically, if you look at Palworld, yeah, they have a case. I get it. Makes sense to me.
No, they definitely have a case. Of course they do. But just, I get what you mean. You you genuinely don't like the shamelessness.
Yes.
To me, it's, I couldn't give less of a fuck about Nintendo, and I'm sorry somebody else cooked your cake better than you can. And now you're upset about it.
The market decided. I don't know what to say. The market decided.
Yeah.
Well, if they stole assets, that's what I care about.
I mean, yeah, but
it's like if Plankton made a better Krabby Patty than you did, and now all hell is breaking loose. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, but like,
what I will give them, what I will at least give them, is they did make a different style of game. It's not just a turn-based RPG or a what have you. It is a survival crafting live action game. I will give it that. That's the best move they could have made. If this thing was a turn-based RPG, they would have been fucking done. It would have been over. Like, no chance. So I'll give them that.
Agreed.
Yeah. Oh, well. That's just, I just also kind of hate Palworld. Fuck that game. That game was such a disappointment. I fucking hated it.
Yeah, I remember you were super hyped for Palworld before it released.
Hated it.
Exclusively because it was Pokemon with guns, by the way. I remember you saying,
and I was super hyped, and I went, oh, fuck it. I want fucking, so first of all, back when it was announced, I was like, I want low budget Chinese mobile game ripoff of Pokemon with guns. And then I find out it's another Japanese company, which shocked the shit out of me. And then you play it, and what I thought was going to be a big, dumb rubber band and duct tape adventure with your Pokemon and fucking AK-47s is the most generic, soulless, uninteresting paint by numbers survival game ever fucking made. That's also ripping off Elden Ring. That's also ripping off Breath of the Wild. That has bait and switch screenshots and trailers on the Steam page. They might still be there. I don't know if they are, but the first trailers they put out are nothing like the actual game. Like, it just sucks. I hate Palworld so much. I fucking hate that game. Oh well.
This sounds personal. They should call you in as a witness in court.
I should learn Japanese to testify against them. Yeah, I guess maybe the personal does kind of compile on the fact I just hate the blatantness. That's my biggest issue. At least change it enough, but they really didn't change a lot of it. A lot of it's exactly the same. So, Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck Palworld.
All right, to wrap up this episode this week, let's do a things we like corner because I feel like okay.
Are we not doing an After Dark?
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I want to put the things we like in this.
Mm.
All right, go. Give it to me, guys. Make me smile.
You're Jackson. You start. Jack Hoarder.
Yeah. Oh yeah, okay. Well, still this week, I'm going with Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Finally finished it this last week. It is a borderline perfect game. The ending sticks the landing, I would say. It comes very close to being a bit of a cliche, but I think it does a fantastic job wrapping up the game. 50 hours in it. Loved it. It was an incredible surprise. Came out of nowhere. Really reinvented the genre to me. Showed me what could be done with the genre. And it's just a breath of fresh air. So I highly recommend people play it. Still singing its praises. My fiance also loves it. So Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Everyone I know playing it cannot shut the fuck up about it. So Jackson, pitch it to me in a good sentence on why I should play it. Like, what is it?
You should play it because it's French.
I'm out.
But French in the best way possible. French in like the level of passion thrown into it. It feels like every single, no, not romance, but more like so baguettes. Just like that. Yeah, sure. No, it tells an interesting story about grief and mortality that I think is pretty much everyone can get something out of. Everyone's experienced loss. Everyone's gone through grief. And it's not done so...
Tell me this. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but is it a JRPG? Because you told me no, but it kind of looks like turn-based combat.
Yeah, I don't know what qualifies things as JRPG anymore. I'm a bit lost on the term. Obviously,
you don't know this, but I'm a Elden player. I like FromSoft games.
That's how they identify themselves. Yeah.
This.
What? Did you say something?
Oh, did I break up?
I don't know.
I was just saying, to a FromSoft player, is this an acceptable game?
Yeah. In terms of difficulty, yeah. In terms of exploration and stuff, yeah. And it also ends, which I like.
I do like that. I can't lie.
I do like when things end and don't go on for hundreds of hours of the same meandering plot that, hits the same beats over and over again. Mm-hmm. And also, unlike a lot of JRPGs, it's not set in a high school, which is also nice.
That is unique.
Honestly, it's a welcome change of pace. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say I finished the main story, Kaya, in about 25 hours. And then there's like a kind of like a epilogue additional story, which you can finish immediately if you want. But I've taken my time to like explore the world after the fact and, clear up miscellaneous tasks and shit like that. So I think like 50 hours is, you could go for 50 hours, let's say.
Okay, that's not too bad.
But you can finish it. You can finish the entire story in like 25 hours.
Okay. Yeah, I might give it a shot then.
I highly recommend it. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. And I think it's pretty clear that most of the gaming community also recommends it. It's sold something like 10 million copies, I think, or maybe that was what they're projected to sell. But regardless, it's been a massive success for them. The studio of 30 people that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I agree with Andrew. I've not heard people stop talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Which can be sort of a lure, a bad sign too, but
I'll
go ahead and trust you for once.
Is this person
People
in chat
being happy
joking?
is a red
25
flag.
hours. Someone in chat said 25 hours of story for the price that it is. That's it. I fucking hate it. Could be 5 hours of content. As long as that 5 hours
Jackson,
is good.
get out of the way. It's time for the older man's turn. Listen to me, you little shit. You little fucking punk.
This is why the games industry sucks.
Kai and I grew up in the era where you paid $60 for a full game in old school 2000s inflation money, and the story was on average 9 hours long, often 7 or 8. You shut the
long.
fuck up.
9
Shut
hours
your
was considered
goddamn
long.
mouth, you spoiled little shit.
People, it's not spoiled though. You're getting that 9 hours stretched over 100 hours. That's what these open world sluggathons are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that as an Assassin's Creed fan.
Also, there's been recently a lot of talk about game prices increasing to like $70 or $80 by default on all the platforms. I feel like games deserve the least shit. Like if you take your girlfriend or spouse to the movies, you're paying like half of that for 2 hours of entertainment, maybe.
Yeah.
Every movie is fucking 5 hours long now, but there's maybe like half an hour of actually good scenes that are actually fun. You pay so much.
Well, not just that.
As far as video games go,
this game, just real quick, this game specifically though, 25 hours of great content, better than AAA games. Most AAA games I've played this year. It's only $50. It's even lower. It's priced competitively. Games
are one of the greatest values you can ever purchase in your entire life. $60 fucking is dinner for two at a lot of restaurants. So you can have a date night for a couple hours, or go out with a friend or your mom if you're the typical person in our audience, or you can buy something that will give you months of entertainment. Come on now. Games are well worth the money most of the time these days.
Obviously, I hope this doesn't come across like us defending game studios jacking up the prices nonstop, but like games, it is pretty good value as far as like entertainment per hour goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think if the game sucks, you're completely valid in saying it's not worth the price of admission. Right. That's fair. But if like this game critically acclaimed, everyone who's played it has loved it. It's priced $50, cheaper than AAA games for sure. I don't see how you can complain about the price. That's really, really, really fair, in my opinion. And
I'm a fucking degenerate on the opposite end of the spectrum, because I would much rather pay $60 for a really, really tight, concise 8-hour story game.
Yep, same.
I would feel way better with that purchase. I can't stand open world bloat and long, dragged out experiences these days because I have this strange thing called a life, and I don't play that many video games as of late. So when I sit down to play a game, I want it from start to finish to engross and enthrall me. I don't want to feel like it's a checklist of things to do. So, you can go the opposite direction. You can go in a lot of directions, but the point of the fact is, compare it to the movies, compare it to a concert. You are getting far better value from a video game than almost any other entertainment medium on the planet. Straight up.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I guess books, maybe, are better because they're much cheaper and can be a lot longer than a lot of games. And even then...
Yeah, it doesn't take that long to read a book.
Yeah, it depends on the book. So... Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's plenty of things to criticize the games industry over.
Yeah.
And you've also got to consider the fact that, everything in the world has risen in price over the last few years, and games have pretty consistently been $60 for like the last 2 decades. So I don't know. I'm not going to argue for $70 or $80.
There are old video gaming ads from the era of the PS1 and the N64 where brand new releases were often like $75 or $70. And if you run the inflation, that's about $102 today. So even with price increases, it's not good. I don't support it. I don't like it. I don't agree with it based on how the landscape has changed. But even with price increases, you're still getting better value a lot of the time if you pay $70 for a game.
Yeah,
back in the day.
I think the issue with video games is they, like AAA games, are traditionally always all priced the same. Whereas the inherent value of the product is different in each and every situation. Like it really depends on the game's quality, how much how much it makes sense to spend that money on it. Like, there's shit $80 games and there's good $80 games. So about what you're willing to pay for the
same as
game.
with movies and books, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, okay, I'm paying $50 tonight to take my wife out to the movies. I don't know if it's gonna fucking suck or if it's gonna be fun Jason Statham slop.
Yeah, I'll put a price on it to make it easier for people to pick up Claire Obscure Expedition 33. I would have paid $80 for it. So sucked in, losers over at Claire Obscure. You lost $30 from me. I would have paid more. So, highly recommend.
Okay. Andrew?
Yeah. Oh, mine's difficult. Oh, man. I'm kind of in that like stasis indulgence grind where everything I'm consuming doesn't stand out. It's just kind of, I like it, but there's nothing where I'm like really excited to tell people about it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Sad. I hope you're all right, man.
It's like that thing where you're watching a TV show and when people ask you about it, you're like, yeah, it's good. I don't know what else to say. It's just good,
Yeah.
And like you watch a movie and you're like, that was fine. And then like you try a game and you're like, that was fine. Like, I have nothing that's standing out on the front of my mind of like, oh, this is the thing I'm really into right now. It's all just kind of there.
That's okay. What's the funnest one?
I would say the best one.
Even if it's mid.
Yeah, and I mentioned it earlier in the show, is the show Archer. I'm watching the last few seasons. It's a phenomenal show. I'm watching the last few seasons I've never seen. And it's if I wrote the dialogue to a TV show, everyone hates each other and does nothing but quip and insult on each other all episode long. And some of the burns are some of the most clever I've ever heard. That just some of the digs at each other are just so goddamn good. But it's
Archer is
just
such a cozy show for me. I love watching Archer.
It's a wonderful little show. It's basically an overextended James Bond parody. And it's got like all the James Bond staples, like it has action set pieces and whatnot. But the real highlight of the show, you can tell that a lot of care goes into writing the dialogue because every character is unique. Every character has great lines and moments. Every character evolves and changes. What?
I'm sorry, I was laughing at someone in chat who said you couldn't write Arthur. Andrew, he got the name of the show wrong. Showing how stupid people are.
Well,
he's trying to insult you, and he gets the name of the show wrong. It's so good.
Arthur is a wholesome child show, so I would probably struggle on that. But if it's about people shitting on each other left and right, I think I'd be a fucking genius at it. But it's phenomenal. It's kind of like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where a lot of it is watching the characters in dumb situations. But the difference is with Archer, it's like everyone's competent and really good at what they do for the most part. So it's just funny to see how they do all these like dangerous spy missions and crazy stunts, but they're the background to how they talk about it. Like the forefront is always their reactions and playing off of each other of what's happening. And it's just it's a very, Jackson's right on the nose. It's very cozy. You always know what you're going to get. It doesn't change that much. The characters are all easily identifiable. And some
I will
of the jokes
say
and dialogue are great.
It's not a kind of show where I laugh out loud or anything.
Yeah.
It's not like, but it's just nice to kind of exist in that world and watch the character interactions.
100%. It's not hysterical. I'm not dying while I watch it, but there are a lot of lines where I perk up and go, damn, that's a good one. You know, and the characters are really...
I'm enjoying watching this scene play out or how these characters interact. Or,
and
I'm invested in the plot.
Some episodes have really fun storylines where they actually do get pretty twisty and clever with the writing. There's a lot of one of the things they do often in the show is because it's based off James Bond, more specifically like Sean Connery and kind of 60s, 70s, 80s James Bond. They reference golden age of cinema a lot. So like old school movies and actors and actresses and like 1940s World War II history. So they have a lot of references to that. And when you notice it, you're like, oh, that's cute. They're parodying this or that. Or, oh, that's an Indiana Jones thing. Or that's a Burt Reynolds thing. Or that's a Magnum PI thing. Or Golden Girls. Like all these like old names from television. And they do it on purpose. They kind of do it knowing no one's going to get it. You know what I mean?
I think where did you stop watching? Because I think I stopped watching around the, I think it was the Danger Island arc.
Oh, I'm way after that.
Does it still maintain? Is it still good after that?
Okay, so there's a 3-season arc that they go through where they do like in-universe spin-offs. Like there's a Danger Island one, there's a 1920s
the
space one, etc. A lot of people say those aren't as good. I personally like them. I never had a problem with them. I will say the seasons after those are great. Like really, really good. I finished season 12, which, not to spoil too much, it's when they're fighting a rival spy agency. And I would put that up there for like some of the best the show's ever been. Like the writing in that season the writing in that season is awesome. Really, really good.
I was in that kind of boat where I think it was like the seasons were like Coma Dreams, right? Of
That's the dream arc where they do like little spin-offs. Yeah.
So I kind of like, I wasn't as invested, so I stopped watching around. The Danger Island one.
That's where I fell off, because the Danger Island, I was like, whatever. The 1920s detective, I was like, whatever. I will say that the final one they do, the space one, I really liked the space one a lot.
Okay,
I thought that one was
that
great.
One,
I think because they do like sci-fi stuff. They do like Star Trek plots in it, and I really liked that. I thought that was a fun change of pace. But once that all ends... Once that all ends, it goes back to the regular show about spies in the 60s, and then it gets really good. Like it just fires back up where it left off. So I'd say get back into it. You'd probably really like it.
Yeah, I mean, I love the first, up until the Coma arc. But then I kind of felt like they were just like treading water almost, so I just kind of moved on from there. But if it gets back up to that same level as before the Coma arc, then I'll hop back in.
Jackson,
I thought it stopped for some reason.
I did too, and that's why I was surprised when I heard there was like 5 seasons I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
It ended only like 2 years ago. It ran for like 15 years or something.
Oh, okay,
crazy.
so it is over now though.
It is now over, yeah. But like a couple years ago. But Jackson, let me put it this way. I'll put my hand on your shoulder. Pretend I'm doing that right now. It's very soft. I use lotion. If you like Futurama, and that kind of like character-based comedy, kind of fun, like a combination of character comedy and interesting plots, then just go back to Archer, because it really starts hitting that like as it goes. Yeah. I think you'd really like it.
It's interesting. I'm looking at the US viewers. They weren't doing too hot in those final seasons.
Yeah, the show I think fell out of popularity. And another thing that happens is Archer's mom, the actress who plays her, dies in real life. So she's not in the final few seasons. And I bet that hurt it a lot, because she's an incredible character. But yeah, I mean, I think you would love it, knowing you like those kind of shows. I wouldn't say it's like the best show ever. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I'm enjoying watching it. I would recommend it to people who are into that kind of show, for sure.
Okay, I'll go back to it. Kyle, what about you? You've had a long time to think about it.
Yeah, don't say Obscura 33 or Archer. Those have been taken.
No, I'm gonna have to give Tim Sweeney credit this week of Epic fame, the Epic Game Store, because this past week, he shot his piss right in Apple's mouth. Basically, I don't know if you guys have been keeping up, regardless of what you think of the Epic Game Store and the quality of Epic games in general. He has been on a warpath against Apple for years now, because they take a 30% cut of any charge on the Apple Store. So let's say you go on Patreon, the app that you downloaded on iOS, and you decide to subscribe to somebody for $5. Apple takes 30% of that for nothing, except just hosting the app. And Tim Sweeney has been on the warpath, and he finally won his case against it. He convinced the jury that this is an unjust monopoly and violates an antitrust laws. So that's cool.
Yeah, good.
Is that your thing you like?
Yeah.
Oh,
Apple losing. I mean, that's kind of fun. Because it might change like pricing on video games on the App Store, and also just in general, like Stripe, one of the PayPal competitors, is now offering out-of-app payment solutions to app developers. Every time you Well, apparently, like Fortnite wasn't even on the App Store anymore for a couple of years, and now they can finally return after this ruling. So
yeah, there was a big talk about that going on for a while. Caught bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, and now they are court mandated to just simply have to let Fortnite process payments off of the Apple App Store, which is always good. This is more competition, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is good.
Competition. I couldn't think of anything else. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you have anything actually fucking exciting that happens?
Is life good?
No.
Yeah, it's just like a dark, horrible
life
cloud,
is good.
apparently.
It's just standard.
The thing you like is a boring court case. Cool. Thank you.
I'm with Kaya. I haven't had much discovery lately. It's kind of just been like, stuff I'm familiar with, and like even games. I'm just playing the next Phoenix Wright game, and I love Phoenix Wright, but I'm not going to sit here and just tell why it's great. It's a murder mystery. Okay, here's Phoenix Wright. You ready? It's a charming murder mystery series. You play as a prosecutor. The end. That's it. That's Phoenix Wright.
Because you mentioned it before. Okay, and
Jackson, I mentioned it before.
I've been rewatching Better Call Saul again. So there you go.
Yeah, see, it's all just like, it's all good stuff. Jackson, I've been practicing guitar. I have a lot of fun. I've talked about guitar on this show 40,000 times. Like, there's nothing new. It's just
fucking boomers.
Things just are.
How is that boomers?
You're asking me how talking about a fucking Epic versus Apple court case, a legal case on the things you like corner is boomer-esque. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, okay, you're so unique with your video game. Hey guys, a video game came out this week that I like.
The new game that everyone's playing, no doubt. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you a different one. You want a fucking different one?
No, Archer was fine. I liked Archer.
No, I got one.
Kaya has one. No, Kaya's got one. Kaya put his hand up. That means we have to listen.
Okay, I just remembered. Okay, Kanye's new song.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of catchy. That's it. I can't really say anything better about it. That's really it.
What's the name of it?
I prefer the court case one.
Oh, God. And YouTube demonetizes. And
yeah, you did message me and say the beat was good.
Mm.
I mean, his whole shtick of like, hey, I'm a black Nazi, it got old like immediately after he went on Alex Jones. You guys remember the Net and Yoo-Hoo shtick that he did on that show for like 2 hours? But I gotta admit, I mean, the new song is kind of catchy, even though he, I guess, sings about being a cock. That's it, I guess. Is that okay, Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, sure. You said that the song sounded cool. I guess I'll give you that. Or it sounded good.
Well, which makes sense. It's like it's not a super good song. It sounds okay. Yeah. I guess he doesn't suck that much.
Yeah, but it's more like he's messaging and stuff. Like what he's doing is pathetic. Like imagine if he was actually
very boring.
Like, yeah.
Well, is he getting enough of the nitrous?
I think so. I mean, he sounds high as hell, and he sings about being a fucking cuck and a Nazi. So, but like
probably,
audibly, I suppose it's fun to listen to. I suppose.
Mm-hmm. If Kanye West
nothing happened this week. I'm sorry.
If Kanye West wasn't famous, he would be a Christian, and that's all there is to it. Jackson, I'll give you another one.
He would.
I'll give you another one, Jackson. Here, Jackson, my second wet, slappy hand is going on your shoulder. I'm holding both your shoulders now.
Stop molesting me.
No, it's sliding around. It's all greased up. All right, I'm gonna remind you guys of this. It's old, but I recently was reminded of how cool it was. Do you guys remember 12 Minutes?
Oh yeah, the game.
No.
Yeah, with Willem Dafoe and James McAvoy, where you're stuck in a time loop and you got to figure out how to get out of it, and it's got celebrities in it. I watched a friend play that. They'd never played it before. I watched him play it at his house. And I was like, this is such a cool idea that they got. They got like actual celebrities to be in this kind of like little self-contained drama for a little indie game. And
why is it like impressive that they had actual celebrities? I don't know.
Celebrities don't do video game shit like that.
Yeah, but I don't fucking care if fucking some celebrity shows up in a video game.
Now that's where my third...
Today it's old.
That's where my slimy hand is going to crawl on you again. My third one.
It's creeping down.
That game has Willem Dafoe in it, and Willem Dafoe is one of the greatest actors of all time, you son of a bitch.
He's a
Love that man.
Yes, he's a great actor, but it doesn't inherently make the game more
yes, it does. Oh, yes, it does.
Never mind. I feel your hand
Hideo
pinching my
Kojima
cheeks
make
right
this?
now, and you've convinced me. Yeah, it's like that mindset.
It's less about the celebrities. I'm more goofing on that. It's more about, I just remember playing it myself and having that fun, like, I love games where it's like you have no idea what's going on. You have to slowly piece it all together. And then, you know, seeing Jackson snort cocaine off of his glass table just now gave me the strength. But no, just like, you know, I like games like that. And watching a friend of mine who had never played this before piece it all together, it was nice. What the fuck was that, Jackson?
I don't even know. I don't know why I took a big inhale directly into the microphone.
You need a little mess to get through this? I'm sorry I'm boring you. Fuck.
No, you're not boring
Jesus.
me.
Yeah, Jackson, did you know I like house slippers? Like wearing slippers in the house. They're very cozy. That's the thing I like. Are you gonna sigh at me too?
Holy
I
shit.
didn't sigh. It wasn't a sigh. I like sniffed for some reason. I'm not sure why I sniffed. It wasn't out of boredom or anything.
Jackson turned on his ketamine grinder there. Jesus Christ.
It just felt nice to take a big inhale.
Provide you with the adrenaline.
I'm sorry I'm not playing Eiffel Tower 33, the game everyone's playing. Jesus. Fuck.
I was fine with Archer. You should have just stopped there.
I like both of those things. I gave you two. I gave you a more specific
you
one.
gave me a lot. You gave me, and then you touched me a lot. It was nice. Thank you for that.
I would.
All right, we're gonna go hang out now that it's getting saucy, and we're doing coke and stuff like that. We'll head on over to the official podcast After Dark, exclusively for our Patreon audience and official.men audience. A word, you can head on over to official.men to get free 7 days, what the fuck is it? Free 7-day trial to the membership platform. So if you want to access all of our ad-free bonus content, things like that, After Darks, you can head on over to official.men and get 7 days for free
where we
right
have
now.
gay sex with each other. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's really hot.
We don't even talk. The audio is mostly silent.
That's for everything too, guys. You've got Red Thread over there, early ad-free. You've also got about 20 episodes, well, I don't know about that, 15 episodes of Criminally Stupid that are exclusively released there at the moment. Like, there's a lot of Criminally Stupid over there that has never seen the light of public, it's never been released publicly yet, but it will be later. So, yeah, you got a lot over there, a lot of bonus content that you can go watch, and I highly recommend you give it a try with that 7-day free trial over at official.men.
Right.
Yeah, you can watch all the stuff that we usually take out.
Jackson, you launched that new one-man podcast on the website, and it's only you on it. It was called Jackson's Mayo Emporium. Can you tell us about that?
Mayo?
Yeah. Jackson's Mayo Emporium.
What do you think I'm sniffing at the moment?
Yeah,
sniffing mayo.
And you'll get that and other made-up shows over on official.men.
Yeah, you'll get to see how long Andrew can hold his hands on my body.
That's
without
true.
Me sliding away.
My current record is about 5 minutes, but that's because I let go out of my own volition.
Yeah. He's going to work on the determination. And,
it's not a physical thing. It's more mental. Like, I don't want to hold Jackson that long. You know? That's kind of weird.
Well, yeah. You pull away as soon as you start feeling the twinge in your penis that insinuates that you're about to get an erection. It's inherently gay. You're touching my body and I'm naked.
Okay, right, so I will never hug you again. Got it.
Thanks, guys. Come watch us hold each other intimately over at those sites. We'll see you over in the After Dark. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.